Hello, hello, hello. I believe we are live over here at BeLive TV, and this is Leland Best coming at you from my home studio along the Shiawassee River in Corunna, Michigan. Today for Across the Pond, we're using a little bit of a different show format for several reasons, and I'm going to let Stephen explain all that to you, but our special guest today, the CTO of BeLive TV himself, is Tzafrir Rehan. So, Stephen, welcome and take over. This is your show today. I'm going to hang out in the back and just watch things roll. So we'll see you shortly. Take care.
Thank you, Leland. And it's our pleasure today, as we're both here, to welcome to our show, Across the Pond, which is in its second season. We're happy to welcome Tzafrir. And a countdown. Good afternoon, Tzafrir. How are you today?
Hey, good afternoon and good morning, Leland. How are you all?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm doing fine over here. Sun shining, a little cooler than normal, but it's a good day, so I'm not complaining.
Nice. It's a very, very warm day here in Israel. Nice for late April.
Well, this is interesting because the sun's shining here as well, but I don't think it's as warm as it is in Haifa. So we've got, all three of us have got the weather. To anybody who's watching today, welcome. This is the normal Across the Pond show, but with a very special guest, as Tzafrir has joined us. And Tzafrir and Daniel are the main directors of BeLive.tv. If you've got any questions at all about BeLive.tv, then please join us live on air. You'll find the link up above. And we're going to start with just an overview of the system as it stands at the moment and the things that have changed. So I want to say welcome to the show, everybody. And please share the show if you wish, and we can see your comments as well. But the first thing I want to talk about is the changes that have been made recently, Tzafrir. And the first thing I noticed is the changes to question and answer, which has become solo.
Yeah, that's not an official name change, but that's part of a larger change that we did to let people create broadcasts directly from the homepage. So on desktops right now. So previously, when you visited the BeLive TV homepage, we asked you to sign in and to let us know who you are. And then we would invite you to actually try the product. And we recently changed that to let you, we had enough confidence in the system and we've seen what the community does with it and the great results people are having. So we could make the decision to just open the beta much wider and let people just jump right in. So part of that was showing them a familiar title, because when we brought you in the past to the QA landing page, it would be very clear, questions and answers, broadcasting mode, and you'd have the graphics to explain it and everything.
Yeah.
So when you come through the homepage, you know nothing. You just saw BeLive TV possibly somewhere, and you jumped in and you want to start broadcasting, so we use the word solo. I wouldn't go as far in saying that we changed the product to be named Solo, but that's part of the reason for that.
Right. Okay. Full understand. Now, the most well-used product, is that face-to-face?
Yes. The face-to-face interview format is our greatest hit so far. And it let people bring two people together the way that you've been doing for quite a while. And we're also expanding now to the talk show format, which brings a lot more capabilities of multi-person. But what we like in the QA and the face-to-face, which is why we'll probably keep them packaged that way for a long while, is that they are very, very simple formats. Mm-hmm. So that's important for people who are getting started. Okay, this is a face-to-face interview. I bring another person and we go live together, and that's it. That's everything you need to know, and that's the way you make a very simple broadcast. So we want to keep the power of that simple format.
I understood, and I really enjoy using it. It is a great tool to use, and with the agenda as well, which we were able to use today. Now, I've now got a fourth use of the agenda, in that I set up the show today. I wrote out the agenda. I sent a copy to yourself in Leland, so that before the show, we all knew what the agenda was. So rather than coming here and be surprised by questions, we were able to share the content, and if there's any problems, we could talk about it. But we'll go through stage by stage. If anybody has questions who's watching the show, then please ask them. Now, just to sidetrack for a moment, something that's not in the list that I gave you, because this is going to happen. What is amazing is the role that you've been on for the last 6 months. And every time you seem to get to the crest of a wave, the sea gets bigger. What's
Absolutely.
it like being on the inside?
So help my poor English, please. Do you mean a role like you're on a roll, or
Yes.
my role as a CTO of the company?
Sorry, good question. I meant,
Yeah, no moss.
Leland, translate.
I think he's talking about the rock that gathers no moss. You just continue to tumble down at faster speeds and produce all this awesome content that you've put in a structure that everyone can easily use. And, honestly, I'll go back in time about a year when the last Facebook event took place for the developers conference. That was the time that Facebook announced its API, which allowed you as a team to put together the dream you always had together since you were in school, which was to form a company together. And I think you've created a huge community in doing so. So for those who don't know when this came about, it was about a year ago this week, wasn't it, that everything fired up at BeLive TV and people were first introduced to this platform? And it's been since then. It's just been an ongoing barrage of new things from you guys. And we're
Correct.
just
It's actually been exactly 1 year. Today will be this year's 2017 F8 conference. And it was exactly last year on the F8 conference when Mark Zuckerberg announced that they have the live API for companies like us to come and offer a service for Facebook Live users. And up until that point, we have been working on live video platform, which you could call a competitor to Facebook Live. So it's been a year where we switched from being competitors to partners of Facebook Live. And it's been a year of incredible growth. And, when you learn in school in mathematics about the abstract concept of an exponential growth. So, okay, you get it. When you live it, it's really crazy. To have the number of users, the number of active users, the number of broadcasts growing in an ever constant or growing rate of change. So every month is a whole new story. Like, I usually use that colloquial we. They say we, but I do most of the job here of programming. So I had to re-architect the system about 3 times from scratch just to support this massive growth. So it's been a challenge for sure. It's been a great ride, and we hope it doesn't stop, I don't want to jinx it. I'll knock on the wood here.
No, we don't want to jinx it either. I mean, we're enjoying riding the crest of the wave with you.
And the community has been a very integral part of that. We couldn't do it alone. It's not, of course, we take off the credit for the work we do, but it's important for you and the community to take credit for what you did, which was to tell people to use the product, to share this great service with your friends. And I think you can't have one without the other. So we're very, very grateful for the user community and all the help you've been doing for the community and for BeLive, which is basically the same thing right now.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean, with the launch of the BeLivers group, and there are now over 700 members. Yeah. There are people in there who are cheering you on and wanting you to succeed and wanting the system to succeed. And it's the whole tone is supportive and optimistic, isn't it?
Yes, a lot of support, a lot of positivity, a lot of help to each other, and it's helping us when you help each other, and it's helping the community. So we're super, super grateful to have the community work together in that way.
And it is a team effort, because now you've got the show with Jeff, which goes out on Monday nights. And last night was just the most amazing show. Because from what did it look like from behind the scenes? Because from front of the scenes, always calm and steady, but behind the scenes, when the numbers were hitting the thousands and then the tens of thousands.
Yeah, I thought I could see you guys sweating there a bit. Like, how many people? We're live. What's happening? That was really fun. Of course, we were freaking out when we always watch the show and try to see what's going on, and you see this immediate spike in viewership numbers in live viewers. It went immediately like 100, 150, 170, 180 live concurrent viewers. So it was just amazing. The heart beating, the adrenaline, and kudos for you guys to keeping a calm face and a stiff upper lip and going into the show.
That's what we Brits do. But I mean, the calmness was led by Jeff really, and he leads the show every week. I mean, he is, and I don't say this without thinking about it. He is probably the best live video chat show host going, bar none, because he can get the tone right. He can get everybody excited, get everybody involved. He's respectful of everybody who comes on the show. And the conversation that he had last night with Stephen, not me, the other Stephen, was just so chock full of information. I mean, the guy has 3.25 million Facebook likes. Mm-hmm. And that's basically the driving forces for the audience. Obviously, that was a part of it. So what this proved to me is that if you've got the platform, you provide a beautiful platform in BeLive. It's now essentially very stable. It's getting more facilities all the time. But if you get the right guest on the show and they put their force behind it and they share it, then anything's possible, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. That was a great example of the guests working together to create a great show. And wow, he had so much information to share and such a fluent, I'm not a native English speaker, so it's a bit hard to me, especially with the various British accents.
Like mine.
Like with you, Stephen, I pick up like 90% of everything.
Oh, right. Well, that's good. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, which I consider good. But it was really hard for me to catch everything. So I will rewatch everything, I think, a bit slowed down, because there was so much gold in there, rushing in, that I just have to catch it all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching the replay. It's one of those shows you've got to go back, give it a day or so, then go back and watch the replay. And I know Ross said that he was going to take notes as he did watch the replay, because this guy is just phenomenal.
Yeah, so that's what we wanted to achieve with the weekly show. Every startup follows like the path to marketing. It's like a set in stone thing in the thought process of new businesses. So you do content marketing and blogs and Twitter and Instagram and the whole template. We decided we're not doing any of that. I mean, not that we're not doing that, but we're putting our money where our mouth is. We're giving you live video shows. And if we can't do it, if we can't market ourselves with live video shows, then there shouldn't be a BeLive. So it's good to see that we were right and it's working, and we're getting a lot of viewership and growth from that weekly show process. That's one. Two, the way that Jeff inserts the community into the broadcast so naturally, so fluidly, that you have the community actually running the interviews. And at first it was by the comments. Jeff would bring up the comments to like interview the person by the audience. And then with the talk show format, now people are actually coming in. And it's so amazing to see the community run these interviews, bring this information. And most of the guests, if not all, are coming from the community. Same way that we bring the community into the BeLive TV shows. We bring the community as guests. It's the best way for us to operate, because it's the most natural, organic, and authentic, that you have people who are using BeLive for their business, for themselves, and they can talk naturally and not be like no artificialness needed. So we're seeing great success with these weekly shows, which is very good because, as I said, that's the whole premise of BeLive. Use Facebook Live to engage your audience and to grow your audience.
That's what we found on Across the Pond. I mean, Facebook Live has made a great deal of difference, hasn't it, Leland?
Oh, absolutely. And when it really comes down to it, it was video marketing originally, and then it became live video marketing. It was a natural evolution that kind of had to take place with the way things were going. But once Facebook opened up the doors for us to come out here with the simple push of a button, and obviously Tzafrir and Daniel still use the back end of Facebook to broadcast to, which is the most stable method to use, of course. But we're finding that people are starting to relax a little now with the live video, and they're getting more accustomed to it. For a while, a lot of people were very nervous with it, and they didn't quite understand how it would be used. But the big difference here is you've given people a platform that has all the features necessary to produce a top quality production similar to a television broadcast. And at first it seems daunting to many that they could ever do that. But once you actually get inside the system that these two have created and understand that it's really just a few button clicks here and there to make this show work, that they tend to calm themselves a little and understand it's not really that difficult. So it has opened up doors for those people who would have never obviously had an opportunity to do this with the standard methods we use on Across the Pond, which is a much different platform process because we use third-party encoders to come in, like a lot of people used to do with OBS and Wirecast, and vMix is what we use for our show. But this has changed the game for a lot of folks. So I'm looking forward to all the broadcasts that people who wouldn't normally broadcast are going to be able to produce. And I know for a fact you guys have witnessed an extreme influx of individuals, especially after Stephen's broadcast and the fact that Rehan Alawala from Pakistan has also come into the house with a lot of his following, which is nearly 1 million people also. So when you have to deal with that amount of influx, I'm sure it's putting a crunch on your systems a little bit. So just from a technical perspective for myself, has it been real difficult this last couple of weeks for you to take on this onslaught of broadcasts, or what are you looking at?
Well, the big growth rate, it was painful like 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. Like 2 months ago, we started really feeling the crunch points, the bottlenecks, the places that you don't plan for, the things that you think are taken for granted. And suddenly when you have a high load and things are happening in parallel in different systems, and suddenly it's not the bugs you worry about. Programmers are always like thinking about bugs. I wrote wrong code. And the sort of issues we've been having lately were more like there is good code, but it doesn't play well with each other in ways that you can't really think about when you don't take the time axis you don't think about it in advance. So that sort of stuff is what we've been struggling with lately. And of course, bringing up the capacity. There was a time when like, because of high load, if you remember, like 2 months ago, it would be very common to see a message when you start going live, like, we're having a high load, please try again in a few seconds.
Yep.
So that's sort of like anticipating the usage, predicting when we need to have more capacity ready. Because when you want to go live, you have to go live immediately. You don't want to wait. So we've worked a lot to just accommodate that when you want to go live, you can go live with no friction, no bad experiences. And a lot of what you talked about earlier is also true. The first experience, letting people know that it's not that bad. You put yourself on camera, you click a few show buttons, and you have an excellent live broadcast. And a lot of people already have that idea ingrained in them that live broadcasting is complicated, that it takes technical knowledge. So what we've seen is that you have to go past that first broadcast. Once you have one good live broadcast, you're hooked. And I'm saying that in a good way, because once you have that good experience, start to finish, no bad surprises, now you can start really thinking about your live video strategy.
Yeah. And just speaking to what Leland was talking about at the moment, about Rehan and his fellow members from Pakistan, they have taken to BeLive.tv, and I mean, there are some guys on there who broadcast even more than I do. I mean, they broadcast multiple times a day, which I wouldn't. But the thing that comes out of that, and what you just said, was for a first-time user, it's easy and straightforward. And Leland and I have experienced this, haven't we? Because people have been able to come on with no knowledge at all, and from from Pakistan and broadcast.
Wow, nice, nice.
Yeah, we love it. It's been fantastic. And just for that matter, we can move right into the features that are available for all those who are new to the platform, who don't know what's really available to them on the back end. This may be the first time you've seen a BeLive broadcast. So we would like to cover, Stephen, for sure, the ways to get in. Most of us over here are using PCs, using the Chrome browser, obviously, which is the recommended method to get on to BeLive. There have been issues with some additions to third-party encoders. Like I use vMix to do the displays behind me during this broadcast because I can either use that as the tool or just the additional tool that works with BeLive. So from that perspective, we have had problems with other softwares like ManyCam. We obviously cannot use OBS with BeLive, but those who have Wirecast or vMix or ManyCam on PC have had pretty good results. And just take it from there and ask about the possible features that we've been developing through third-party software that might become present here on BeLive in the near future. Stephen,
of course, we're always looking at what our users are doing. And while we don't officially support the use of third-party encoders as a virtual webcam, it works. Yes. So if you can make it work, good for you. We just don't have the capacity to support that officially. Because so many things that ads can go wrong.
No, it's good to know.
But definitely, we're looking at what people are doing. And of course, when planning the product, we've been looking at live broadcasting for the past 10 years or 50 years, if you're looking at it in that way, of what works for people. And we're always looking at why things are happening the way they are and trying to think outside of the box and create better solutions to work simply. So, of course, if you have any specific feature request, don't be shy about letting us know here right now, or every one of you watching should and can send us support request and feature request to the support at the Facebook Live, the Facebook page through Messenger. That's also, we're focused on the Facebook platform, and using Messenger as the support way was super natural for everyone. So, of course, if you're a BeLive user, you're a Facebook user, you can message us and give us your feature request. And we can't make promises for anything, but we're always looking at the use case, at the why you're asking for something. And we'll always look for another way, a better way to support that use case.
What's that one they all ask for, Stephen?
Right, okay. What people are always asking for, I'm not going to bring it up on screen, I'll let you just talk about it, is two things. One is the ability to share graphics, and the second is screen sharing. What's your take on that currently?
That's a great example of how we're looking at the why people are asking for something. Because it's been like when you're a live streamer, it's very clear to you. I need to share my screen. That's where it starts, that's where it ends. And it's been a bit of a struggle to look for the why. Why do you want to share your screen? In my personal opinion, screen sharing is bad. Of course, immediately after saying that, I have to add that we will have screen sharing in the near future. But now I can explain why I said that. Because a lot of people, when they share their screen, they have like a presentation that they want to share. And then they share around it their Chrome browser window and all their bookmarks and about 24 tabs. And then a personal message pops up at the corner. And then a lot of things that you never wished to be on your live broadcast are going out publicly to the world. And that brings us back to talking about not having a bad experience.
Indeed.
So we've been very deliberate at making sure that people that need it will have it, but not to trip people, not to get people to shoot their own legs by mistake. Yeah. So that will also be a part of possibly, probably, maybe our paid options. And in that way, we will be able to not trip people over, but still provide that option to people who know what they're doing and know that they absolutely need it. And other than that, we will have an out-of-the-box solution for ways to create presentations, to give webinars, to give seminars, to put out your graphic content without bringing all of your personal computing onto the screen. And Peter has it right. It's not. I just saw Peter's comments. That it's more about the pictures and the slides than actually sharing your actual screen. Thank you for bringing it up. So that's definitely the leading line of thought. But we will have screen sharing to support those other use cases that we can't think about. And you and the BeLive community has been great at figuring out different use cases. Like the talk show format, we never imagined that it will be so much used for bringing the public community into the broadcast. We planned it as like an expansion of the face-to-face, and then this wonderful storm came in. We did.
I mean, if you
want to give that option, but it's been amazing to see it adopted that well so quickly.
Right. You give somebody a tool, and they will find new ways to use it. It's always been true, and we've also, Leland and I have heard somewhere else that screen sharing is not always a good thing. So we know exactly where you're coming from because of that. Now, what we love is interactive shows, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down into the lobby because I can, and I'm going to invite Lindsay Thompson to join us, and he's got a question for the two of you, I think. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so excuse me a moment, and I'll bring up Lindsay.
This is the lovely thing about BeLive is Stephen can jump behind the scenes and simply become the producer of the show. He doesn't have to be on camera. So welcome, Lindsay, to the show.
Hi, Lindsay.
Well, thank you very much. And actually, I did not have a question. I was watching you on Facebook, and Facebook has an annoying habit of sending up an error message after 3 or 4 minutes and saying, terribly sorry, but the video has been interrupted. And since there was a Join Us Live link, I joined, figuring I would listen and see what else you had to say.
Well, that's a good way to watch the show.
Congratulations on the product. I co-host a program called Rare Book Cafe. We deal with rare and collectible books and related topics, and very excited by the options that you're offering so far.
Thank you very much. It's great to hear that. You've been a very active community user. You work with T. Allen, right, on the antiquarian books?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So thank you for that. Like I said before, the community is what drives everything. So thank you for your participation.
Yeah,
my pleasure.
I think for us, Lindsay, the amazing thing about BeLive is we've started to discover some of the niches that are actually coming into live broadcasting that we may never have thought even to be a possibility. I mean, we've had people like Tina Strang come out here with her morticians group who comes out to do what I said might want to be rephrased as the afterlife type information that you want to have before that time comes. And it's something that opened up doors to people who might not normally ask questions of certain niches because they don't know what to say or who to contact. And when those people go live, and suddenly you have access to them from a whole nother perspective of, wow, these people have information that I might need when I need this or I need that. And now we can ask direct questions like you just did. You stepped in the back as a guest, inadvertently not knowing really you were going to become a guest, but it helps produce a show of greater quality. Because now the fan base becomes interactive with the people doing the show, and they get that interconnectivity that they need. Great job on producing the show with it.
Well, I started using this when I heard about it in November of last year, and the thing that struck me instantly, having never done any kind of live broadcasting before, but having read about it, was that it offered a new and interesting opportunity to show potential customers books that I have for sale. If you get a catalog from a book dealer, it may have a photograph in it. It may just have a description of the book, and from that you have to decide whether or not you want to make an offer on it. But in this format, I can chat with people, and I can actually show them, for example, this first edition of The Great Gatsby.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Now, you may say, why is this guy not on a beach in Belize if he's got a first edition of The Great Gatsby? And that's where a format like this comes in, because I then have to tell people who want to see some more of the book, I can say, well, I know it's a first edition, because a previous owner took the dust jacket when it wore out and glued the end sections that describe the book into the front pages. So that's how we can identify it as the first. But then you as a savvy buyer say, well, what about the condition of the book? And that's when I have to show you that they also taped the front page back into the binding with sellotape, which makes this probably the only first edition of The Great Gatsby in the world that nobody wants to buy because it has that significant condition issue. There are other happier stories about selling books online, but this is a really interesting way where I used to just post a listing on sale sites of here's the book of the day. Now I can do a 5-minute video. And say,
and of course,
Great Gatsby that nobody wants to buy. Do you want to buy it? And they can look at the video, and if they want to follow up, they can private message me, and I can snap some more pictures and send them to them.
So have you seen that actually working to drive sales of books? Because
I have a bit.
I understand. Go ahead.
Since I started in November, my sales have gone up significantly.
Wow.
And I can't attribute it all to just doing show and tell on
It's 100%
Live
because of BeLive,
or other formats. But I do think it encourages the development of a relationship between buyers and dealers, akin to what you get in a store. It's a chance for us to chat and get acquainted with each other so that you then feel comfortable maybe making an offer on a book.
Definitely, and of course people feel much more confident and comfortable buying something after they saw the actual product. It's not a listing that they need to think, do I trust this or not? Mm-hmm. Now I know that you have The Great Gatsby first edition. I saw it. So
exactly.
That's definitely a boost for confidence, and that should drive sales, of course.
And when you're looking at some of the big aggregating sites that bring together where sellers can list books, and you may have 100 copies of a book ranging from $1 to $5,000 for exactly the same book, you don't know who among those dealers actually knows what the book is worth. Mm-hmm. They could just be putting a ridiculous price on it that they pulled out of their ear. Yeah. And somebody else may just be looking to sell remainder volumes and make their money on the shipping cost. Yeah. So it can be very confusing, and I think this offers an additional element to the customer experience to be able to say, okay, let's get that guy Thompson on the horn here and see what he's about.
Yeah, and I agree, Lindsay. As an eBay seller myself, I know that it's kind of whatever the market will bear. So we've discovered not only sales, but also the fact that you can provide services through BeLive. So thanks so much for all your insight on that, Lindsay, with regards to the book selling, because obviously he's applied it in such a way that he connects with his audience. He builds that like, trust, and knowing factor that everyone don't like and trust, as everybody normally puts it, with his followers. And that's the big thing, Stephen, I think, going forward.
Oh, yeah. Indeed. And it's fascinating just to watch how this platform is being used. Now, I've got a question that's coming from Peter, which was actually on our list as well. And I'm sure that a lot of people are interested in this. And that's what is happening to the app. Okay. Now, first of all, if we can talk about the Android app, Tzafrir. What's the state of play on that?
So both mobile apps are, as we progressed and we saw that what really works with people, what really resonates is the desktop broadcasting, we kind of laid the lower priority for the mobile apps. Right now, they work perfectly well for broadcasting as a guest. When you invite your guest on face-to-face or on talk show format, they will receive, where on desktop they can just jump into the show. They can do the same from mobile. They get a link to download it from the Play Store, and another link to start broadcasting. Then they log in with their Facebook, which if they already have the Facebook app, it's very simple and doesn't require them to type anything, which is very important for mobile user acquisition. So it's super simple for a guest to join from a mobile app into your talk show or a face-to-face interview and be a guest as part of that. Other than that, we did not give so much priority to developing more mobile features, in part because we're steering this ship where we see the community needs it. And as we move along together, we learn what is important, what is less important for people. And that's crucial for developing a good mobile experience, is to know what's absolutely critical. Because on mobile, you have to think, what can I do without? Because you can't fit all of the features of a full production studio into a mobile screen experience.
Right.
So we're waiting with that is to know what's exactly critical, what's super crucial to have, and to give the best simple experience as people are used to getting from BeLive. When you use BeLive, you know that it's going to be simple, easy, and fun. So we want to make sure a mobile experience is that and not like a crazy mobile button hunt.
And my understanding from Stephen was also that you cannot start a broadcast because of what you just mentioned, the fact that there's so many little controls as a producer. But one feature I wanted to ask you about that I know existed previously, and I'm not sure it's still in the infrastructure of the situation on BeLive, but it used to have access for mobile cameras like satellite feeds coming in from other locations for broadcasters that might have a couple of different camera hands. Is that app still in production, or is it set in stone, or are you not applying that app anymore within the BeLive?
Actually, we dropped support for that, the primitive multi-camera format. That was a format that wasn't as simple as we like things to be. It was like giving you an ingredients and telling you, okay, you can eat dinner. I give you water and flour. Why don't you have bread? So, unsurprisingly, that didn't work out well with users. We saw much better results when we gave a finished product, A to Z, good broadcast guaranteed. You cannot fail. So those possibilities will come in now as part of the talk show format.
Oh, very
good.
I know people that
join as a guest to your talk shows, and you can mute that screen, and you can have both your images with simplicity and ease as we're used to giving.
And the reason I ask that is very simple, that once people get comfortable and familiar with broadcasting live, the next evolution in that is obviously, okay, I want more than one camera. I want to bring in a view over here and a view over here. We see Tina and Michael doing it on their show on Go Live Geeks, obviously, because they have several camera setups on their studio. And others are building studios similar to that to kind of accommodate the extra features. As you grow, we grow. And that's part of the big issue that we love to see. It's not really an issue, I shouldn't say it that way. It's simply the fact, as you evolve, we evolve. We continue to make our shows better and ask for more features based on the things we see coming in and things that we might need to make ours better. So it's kind of a mutual give and take.
It's a great ecosystem with the community and people who are in the community but don't use BeLive. We watch those same as we watch the people that do use BeLive, because we always want to understand why is someone not using BeLive, how we can accommodate them. For example, when we asked Stephen why the Across the Pond show is not always on BeLive, the answer was, oh, you don't have support for 3 people. And of course, once we had that, we saw Stephen follow up on that and use us more for his shows. So we're always looking at everything, the whole ecosystem, how Facebook Live operates, how other users of Facebook Live operate, why people are doing what they're doing, and how to steer our ship to support everyone. And it's a great effort, collaborative effort with the community and with what you ask for and what you actually use. This is what makes BeLive run.
Now, indeed, and it's a joy to be part of this. Now, I want to come back to talk show for a moment. For one very simple reason. The face-to-face is extremely popular, and everybody is using talk show, is raving about it. And you know the question that's coming next, don't you? How is the beta going, and how is it going to roll out in the coming weeks?
Well, we can't still talk about a wide rollout, but the beta has been very, very good results, very, very well. It went very well. We had about 3 waves, I think, of rollouts. Of people getting in, starting using it. And we're looking at how people are using it and about how people meet the format without any previous knowledge. Like the first wave we did was just for the closest people that we are on daily conversational terms with, that we were absolutely sure they'll find all the glitches, if any, and report back to us. We had almost some disasters on the BeLive Weekly show, but we got through them. And I think that there was at the very beginning there was a very, very specific bug with you, Stephen. I think, or
yeah,
we could not hear unless there were 3 people.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was
a very, very specific bug that we did not find before that. So that helped us figure out, that was not even beta, that was alpha, because it was the very, very first time that people met the product. And we were brave enough to bring it on our page publicly with the community, because by that time, the community knows that that's how we operate together.
Yes.
That we can't find out everything alone. We have to have the community's help to find all the edge cases. So that was very great for the first wave. Then on the second wave, we brought it out to a larger group of the people who we know use BeLive very often for their needs. And we looked at how that worked out. And then we brought a much wider invite with many users who never talked to us even, that we do not know by name. And we were very encouraged by the way that the show format caught on with that group. And we will keep doing these measured rollouts because we're working very scientifically, where we're always looking at what people are doing exactly, finding those bottlenecks, eliminating them, and that way we create a better experience for the next wave of testers. And how will it end eventually? We still don't know the end game. I can't give any promises or guarantees here. But it's pretty clear that we'll keep the Q&A and face-to-face interview formats as the entry point.
Okay. Yeah.
And the talk show over time will become more of a BeLive Pro, you can say. A BeLive, I know what I'm doing version.
Well, that's it. The point of entry with the Q&A and the face-to-face is low. You just need to get your camera and mic working, come on screen, invite a guest, and just start talking after you press the live button. And it couldn't get any simpler than that. And I applaud BeLive for actually taking that approach, that it should be open to everybody. And as Leland and I are witnessing, there are tens of hundreds of people who are taking advantage of how simple it is to actually use the system. Now, I'm just going to sideway again for a moment and give you the chance to talk about a new show, Tzafrir, a new show which is on in 17 minutes. And that's
right.
Rachel from Business Unusual.
So I did not prepare like a promotional content, so I'll speak from my heart. And Rachel, I hope this does you justice. Because Rachel has been a super early adopter of BeLive. Rachel Moore. I remember, I think, the first night that the live video mastermind group found out about us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rachel Moore, I'm pretty sure, I'm going out of memory here, but I'm pretty sure she was the first real user of the face-to-face format. She brought Jonathan up with her, and they just went live spontaneously. And that was a really crucial breakthrough moment for BeLive, where we went from looking for the community and having the community find us. And we worked really hard to bring the product to that position and to reach into that great community and bring it in. And Rachel has been one of the first to adopt us in a really good way. And she was running the Business Unusual show, and it became very, very natural for us to collaborate. Because what we like to do with the BeLive TV shows is, like I said, that's where we focus our marketing, just by simply showing the audience what they can achieve with BeLive. So at first it was like on the technical level, and then it was more on the community level, that you can now bring the community onto the broadcast in these amazing ways. And this show tonight, or today, or this morning, we're very global, so this show will be the next step of that, showing you not just how you can use BeLive to drive your live video needs. This show will show you how to use BeLive for your business. And if your business is unusual, that's even better, because we like to support everyone. And Rachel, I hope I did you justice, and I wish you a great show. And I hope all the community that's watching us now will come on next to the Business Unusual show on BeLive TV page and participate. We will have a first celebratory show with the community participation. I anticipate that it will be very, very great, and we'll be there in a few minutes.
Indeed. We'll be hopping over there to watch Rachel's show. So just two final points before we close this. This has been a fantastic session at Leland, hasn't it, so far? I'm just going to bring these up. Sure. And question from Rigetti, which I'm going to read. Is it possible to change the face-to-face so that the host can start without the guest arriving?
We definitely prefer to keep it with a guest, because if you started an interview, we want you to have an interview. What we want to avoid is a very specific condition where you start your show, you're live on your page, you have 300 viewers, your guest comes on, and they can't hear you. Right. Why? Yeah. Because of 1,000 reasons. Their headphone isn't plugged in. They have not in the cable. Their sound card fried. Anything can happen when you're live. We want you to have that certainty that your guest and yourself can see and hear each other before you hit that button. That's the philosophy behind that. As we move on and provide more options, like I said, the I know what I'm doing formats, so in the talk show you can already achieve that. You can start on your own and then bring a guest in later when you see them. By the way, I'm not sure many noticed that, but in the talk show format, if you're already one of those rollouts that have it, you have a little preview looking glass on people in the lobby, where you can take a peek and know that you can hear their audio before they come on. So you have that option if you're already graduated to the talk show format, which right now is in rollouts, and in the future we'll have different ways of ensuring that you have a good experience there. But that's the philosophy behind face-to-face is for interviews. And if you want to go alone, you should use the Q&A. And of course, that doesn't cover everyone's use cases, but that's the simplest common denominator that we found. And I'm glad I answered your question, Brigitte.
Well, you're answering a lot of questions today, Tzafrir, and it's helping everybody. So just a point from Peter, which I know you can address quickly, and when can we get a white label version? In other words, when can we get a white label version? Hashtag soon. Right, okay, we'll accept. Peter, your answer is hashtag soon. And a question from Brandon.
Okay, what do we got?
Okay, sorry, over to you, Leland.
I just wanted to mention, because we did touch upon a couple of times the fact that we can get glitches out here while we're live on broadcast, and it's not always the fault of BeLive TV. One thing that we have to remember as broadcasters is there are several different components that come together to make a broadcast, and that includes the browser, which must be up to date. That includes your sound device, which must also have up-to-date drivers, along with the fact that you want to have a nice microphone of some sort, as long as it picks up good quality volume. The other is the fact that some machines really aren't that good at broadcasting streams out. So those who are still holding on to the old 2-core laptops or smaller units with only a couple of mega RAM, it can cause a serious issue in a broadcast. So consider the fact that you may have to upgrade your hardware and keep your software updated on a continuous basis. As Windows 10 continues to update, as the browsers continue to update, and as drivers to go with your hardware continues to update, you need to kind of stay in tune with all of that, so that as they develop BeLive on the back end, they're doing just that. They're keeping up with technology. We as broadcasters also have to try to keep up with that technology.
Yeah, so I just want to add to that people should appreciate, I mean, we build BeLive so that you can forget about all the technicalities of live broadcasting and keep it behind the scene so you can broadcast well. So as a technical person, when we build a system, I know that for you to have a good live broadcast, you need to have a webcam that works, light that comes in, a lens that picks it up optically, a chip that translates that into digital signals and very special algorithms to translate that into an image, and that goes into your computer via USB, and that has drivers that bring your video into the operating system, and that goes into your Chrome browser, and Chrome browser sends it with special encodings into the cloud, where a whole million different things happen. To make all this happen, we're very grateful for the miracle of live video. That's all I can say. Knowing all this and that it works, and the three of us, me in Israel and Stephen in the UK and Leland in Chicago, in Illinois, right?
Michigan.
I'm sorry, I remember the North. I'm not good with my 50 states. So all of us talking together in near real time. Absolutely. And it all goes out to an audience and a possible potential audience of billions on Facebook when it's public. That's a miracle, and we appreciate it every day, and I appreciate it that we're able to keep all of that behind the scenes so you can just click, connect, and go live.
Tzafrir, it's been a fantastic 50 minutes. We thank you for joining us today. Leland and I really enjoy Across the Pond and enjoyed your company today. And I'm going to be cheeky now and say, could you come back next month and we can rerun it, because there are more people we need to reach out to who want to know what's happening behind the scenes. And you've done that so eloquently today. I think it might be an idea.
I'd love to. Let's coordinate that.
Okay. Well, in that case, as in 10 minutes time, it's the Rachel with Business Unusual, Rachel Moore. She's on the BeLive.tv page, and we're all going over to watch her. I'm going to close this show. I'm going to thank everybody who's joined us today. Leland, your thoughts?
I just want to thank Tzafrir for taking time out of his busy day, and also all of those who came to participate in the broadcast today. If it weren't for all of you who are out there commenting and participating with us, these shows would certainly not have the same effect. But looking forward to all the great things that are to come, I'm sure, very soon over at BeLive. So thanks for that, Tzafrir. Thanks to Daniel also for that.
Yeah.
I will pass on your thanks, and thank you for having me here.
All right.
Okay. And Tzafrir, it's been a joy today, and we look forward to using BeLive in the coming weeks and months and enjoying the journey with you. So thank you, and take care. To everybody who's watched, we'll see you all later. But if you want to catch a brand new show, the opportunity is there to go and join Rachel and Business Unusual on the BeLive.tv video page. Absolutely. So it's goodbye. It's goodbye from the UK.
And goodbye from the US. It has been another edition of Across the Pond. Stephen, would you like me to roll the
Surely. Yeah.
All right. So
we'll see you later.
Next Tuesday over at Across the Pond, folks. Take care. See you next time.
And just a final shout out to Brigetti. If you ask in the BeLivers group, you'll get the answer to your question. Thank you to everybody who's watched. We'll see you later. Bye, everybody.